Danny,
What's up, Trevor?
it's not about them. It's about us, okay?
All right.
It's not about the other podcasts. It's about us. It's not about all the naysayers who said, oh, just because you have your initials make a catchy podcast name, you're not going to have a good podcast. It's not about them, Danny.
Wow.
It's about us. Listen, Danny, when we started this journey,
Yes.
we knew it wasn't going to be easy.
No.
We knew there was going to be long Google Docs and days of editing, and I know it's tough carrying all these stuff from the sports office to the desk.
Yeah.
But guess what? We endured, Danny. We made it through. And so now, it's not about tomorrow. It's not about the next episode. It's about now. It's about today. It's not about then. It's about here.
We're coming.
We're coming. Now give me my theme music.
That was good. I like that. That was a good cold open, man.
All right, what's up, Western Oregon? Welcome back to the TD Show. College football now in full swing. An incredible week one. It always manages to live up to the hype.
100%.
Right, Danny?
Well, an incredible week one for the Pac-12. I mean, the only conference to go undefeated. They look great.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone looked great. From Cal taking on the North Texas Mean Green, your North Texas Mean Green in
that's
Denton.
Right, Denton, Texas. Represent.
I mean, everyone. Stanford looked good against Hawaii, Oregon, Oregon State. I mean, the entire Pac-12 really just showed up.
Yeah.
And just the bright lights and everything. And I was super stoked. I mean, what a week one for college football.
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't ask for a better start to the year.
Upsets from start to finish.
Yes,
I like
sir.
you shouting out even a Cal and a Stanford there at the end. Even Arizona State getting it done. And Kenny Dillingham's first game, 24-21.
Pac-12 after dark at like 3 in the morning when they finally finished.
There was like dust flying in everyone's eyes. There was
Oh,
like
my
a
God.
war zone in there, but still Jaden Rashada able to get it done. So
Yes.
yeah, complete domination by the Pac-12, and I feel like it's natural to start where we started this show, and that's with Coach Prime. What a debut. I mean, I will say I think we both had Colorado probably too far down in our Pac-12 standings. I had them.
100%.
I think I said like 5 and 7. Now I'm regretting that. But I will say I've always kind of said that Dion is going to work in this era of college football. If there was ever an era of college football, transfer portal, being able to turn around a roster. I mean, 86 players gone from last year's 1-11 Colorado team. And then the NIL, the opportunities, branding. I thought maybe something would happen, but I cannot claim to have any inkling of what was about to unfold on Saturday against number 17 TCU.
100%. I had my buddies over at like 9 in the morning when the game started, and that first drive, I was just like, all right, let's see what Boulder does against TCU. And I mean, it caught everyone by surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no idea they would come into TCU.
Nobody did, I don't think.
Like that. I mean, like Shore Sanders, the freshman receiver Edwards.
Yeah.
I mean, Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Actual Heisman candidate after that game.
Right.
I mean, people are saying it, but I think Shedeur Sanders was the best quarterback of week one. He
Ooh, I
looked
like that.
incredible. I mean, 500 yards. He was just poised in the pocket.
Just peppering the ball all over the field,
Oh, man.
accurate, not trying to do too much, just dinking and dunking, going for the deep shots. I mean, yeah, they were absolutely incredible. My favorite moment, it was a video that someone put out afterwards, was like some TCU frat boys in like the front row were like, throw it at Hunter, you won't. And then it's the play that Travis Hunter has like the most incredible interception ever. And then the camera pans back to them, and one of the frat guys is like, who said that? Who said that? You can't jinx the boys. You can't jinx the boys during a big game. But Travis Hunter, everything as advertised. Shout out Gwinnett County. We produce greatness. In my home county of suburban Atlanta. I mean, I'm an athlete too. Travis Hunter's an athlete.
Yes.
You know, I'm great at NCAA. He's great at playing every position on the football field. But that was insane. I don't think we've seen anything like that in a while. A 100-yard receiving game, and then an interception on defense.
129 snaps.
Crazy. I don't know how that dude wasn't dying, but it's kind of cool that Dion has a little clone of himself on the team, because that's what he used to do at Florida State and in the NFL, is be able to play both ways. They have a guy like that in Travis Hunter. So I think, well, what's funny too is Travis Hunter put out a video. Everybody's got a podcast now. That's what I was saying. All these other podcasts competing.
His called like Talk 12 or something like that.
His 4 Heisman candidates were number 1, Travis Hunter, number 2, Shedeur Sanders, number 3, Caleb Williams, and number 4, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, yeah.
And when he put that out, like everyone was just clowning him, like this is ridiculous, typical Colorado, like cockiness. No, like that might actually be the Heisman race right now.
After today's game, I think anything's possible with Colorado. I mean, I said, I also put Colorado way too low in my Pac-12 list. And after today, I mean, like, I'm scared for them to come play at Oregon. You know,
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch
That's
them
coming
play.
up.
Exactly. I'm excited to watch them play Nebraska at home. I think it's going to be one hell of a game to watch.
Yeah.
We'll see how Nebraska gets back after that, heartbreaking loss.
Another one, yeah. Nebraska and one-score losses. A never-ending relationship.
It is inevitable with Nebraska. But yeah, I mean, Colorado looked insane. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt calling that game was incredible. I mean, hearing Gus just yell, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, that was great. But yeah, I mean, big week one for the Pac-12, big week one in general. It was a great week one.
Yeah, it was really incredible. Yeah, definitely with Colorado. You don't know. I mean, having so much roster turnover, maybe depth could be an issue as we continue to go down the season, but we know for sure they have playmakers. Dylan Edwards, like you said, Jimmy Horn Jr., a guy from like USF that was balling out.
Yeah.
They had
some
heads.
dogs.
They had heads all over the field.
Heads were there.
They had dogs everywhere. Nebraska's going to be interesting. And then the main thing I'm excited for with the Oregon game is the press conferences leading up to and after it.
Yeah.
Seeing how Coach Prime is going to kind of react to what Dan Lanning said at Oregon Media Day.
Not a big reaction. I mean, I'm trying to remember what they won to affect this conference. I don't remember. Do you remember them winning anything? I don't remember them winning anything.
Did you see Travis Hunter's reaction to that?
What did he say?
He was basically, Dan Lanning's like not wrong. I mean, like, and he actually had a lot of praise for Dan Lanning. He's like, he recruited me out of high school, so I actually have a good relationship with Dan Lanning.
Yeah, to Georgia,
He was kind of like, Colorado, we have a lot to prove. So I think he reacted to it pretty well. But yeah, it's going to be exciting seeing those press conferences before and after, seeing how that pans out for Colorado.
And it's crazy because it's like Colorado, it feels like their history all of a sudden doesn't matter. Like, it feels like Coach Prime is a whole different thing, a whole different era, a whole different brand. I mean, his pregame speech that I reenacted, like, that showed.
I thought you were Deion Sanders for a second there.
I embodied his spirit a little bit there. I went into Prime mode, Trev Prime mode, but. All I do is really order food on Amazon Prime. That's my only relation to the word Prime. But no, it feels like something different is going on in Colorado, a whole different type of era, a whole different energy, and it feels like their history doesn't matter as much right now. So we'll see how that kind of unfolds. Going through the rest of the Pac-12, I mean, where do we go next? I mean, USC, we can just kind of run through it. USC looked a little better in this one. It's against Nevada, still a team I don't think is good, but their defense looked a little bit better. They were actually tackling. I saw 2 or 3 tackles in the game. So
that's high
huge
numbers
for them.
USC.
They brought players to the ground at least once or twice. Dude, Caleb Williams, the talk around him is always funny because I saw articles being like, he didn't do that much in week 1, so good to see him in week 2. I'm like, what are you watching? He's incredible. It's like, it'll be like halftime and he's like 20 for 25 with 200 yards, and they're like, slow half for Caleb Williams by his standards. I'm like, bro, give me a break.
I think it's just because he's the current Heisman front runner, and I mean,
that guy's so good. That guy's so good.
He looked great. Great. And then on the flip side, UCLA, they played against Coastal Carolina.
That was an interesting game.
That was an interesting game because they were kind of struggling with the penalties and all that, but then Dante Moore came in. He was
different. Again, different team. Like Shedeur Sanders with Colorado. Dante Moore, when he came into that game. UCLA looked like a different team. Kind of funny that Chip Kelly took him out after a big touchdown pass, and then he leads them again. Like, I like that. I said, I think last week, I'm like, this could be like a Trevor Lawrence, Kelly Bryant situation in 2018. They started Kelly Bryant, but everybody knew that Trevor Lawrence was the guy. And then over the course of the season, like, it just became too obvious and Trevor Lawrence had to play. That just happened to play out in week 1. Anybody with the last name Garbers, I don't trust as a Pac-12 quarterback. I feel like we've seen 6 Garbers. Chase Garbers, I think maybe his brother. I don't know.
Yeah,
but dude, sometimes you just need to pick a quarterback by how cool their name sounds.
Dante Moore is a good quarterback name.
That quarterback competition was Ethan Garbers. Don't trust the name Garbers. Colin Schlee, that's not a cool name. You're not going to be a good quarterback. That's like 10 interceptions waiting. Or Dante Moore. I'm going with Dante Moore every time.
I like it.
And the talent. But they look like a challenging team with them. Without Dante Moore, they look like a very ordinary team, kind of taking a step back like we maybe guessed. Didn't quite look like that with him under center, behind center. And
Washington
Washington,
really
dude, I think with Penix, it was like, okay, this guy was not a fluke last year. Like, this really is who he is. Dime dropper, bro. I like when RG3 was like, he throws left, but he's always right. Like, I was like, okay. RG3 has some zingers in there for sure.
Did you see him rip his pants on TV?
No, I did not. That makes me feel better about ripping my pants last week.
Split his pants wide open.
No way.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal for him. But yeah, no, Michael Penix Jr. looked great. I'm glad they pummeled on Boise State. I don't know. There's something about Boise State that rubs me the wrong way. They're always like, we're the big dog in the Mountain West and always finish third. I don't know.
They're like, we make $6 million in media rights, and everybody else makes $4 million.
Their
It's like
blue
cool
field,
flex.
I mean, apparently their blue field kills birds because birds think it's a lake and they just dive on top of it.
Really?
It's a true story. Yes, that's a true story. I swear to God, I read that somewhere and I believe it 100%. But yeah, I don't know.
Danny Vigil, our local PETA rep.
Yeah,
here in
100%.
Eugene.
I am local PETA rep. But yeah, Michael Penix Jr., he laid it down on Boise State. I mean, where else could we go with the Pac-12? I mean, just everyone. Stanford looked great against Hawaii. Their quarterback, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he looked really good.
Yeah, he did. Ashton Davis. Yeah.
Yes, and then Oregon State. I kind of want to start with
Let's go to
them.
Oregon and Oregon State. We'll start with Oregon State. You think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because
I
I was
mean-
there, just came back from a road
Yeah,
trip.
you were there firsthand, so
Yeah.
I want to hear your experience. But yeah, I mean, DJU, I mean, on TV, that guy is massive.
He's a big dude.
He is a huge. I can only imagine what he looks like in person. But yeah, I thought DJU. I mean, I think it's clear that he wasn't the problem at Clemson. I mean, we saw that in this first game. He looked completely dominant, completely comfortable in the pocket. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing, and
3 passing, 2 rushing.
There we go, 3 passing,
First
2
time a
rushing.
Beaver's done that since 1996.
Wow.
Yeah.
There we go. Already breaking records. I mean, good for DJU. He
Yeah.
looked great. Silas Bolden, Anthony Gould. I mean, those are going to be his top targets. I mean, and then Damian Martinez.
Ooh,
I mean,
great game.
people were talking about DJU, but I think Damian Martinez had a great game. It's not being talked about as much, but he's still one of my front runners for Heisman. That was my
I
hot
like
take.
it.
So
I
don't
like
know.
it.
Good
That's one of my
so
favorite,
far.
one of your takes. Yeah, man. Crazy trip. That's a drive, dude. Getting
How
down to
was
San
that?
Jose. So let me tell you. So the first part, going through Oregon. That part of Oregon's beautiful. You pass
Yes.
through Roseburg. You
Yes.
pass through Medford, Ashland, all that. And then I stopped in Medford. That was my first gas stop on the way down. Was choosing between In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A. I got
Not a bad
Chick-fil-A.
pick.
I was
There
like,
you go.
In-N-Out's going to be in my future, and that's foreshadowing because it was in my future. And this is all very important stuff you need to know about my trip. So I'm driving down, stop in Medford. Took a little too long eating the new, you know when you get the same ads over and over? So basically to pass the time on my drive, I was driving down on Saturday, so I'm listening to all the games in my ear.
There you go.
And they keep coming up with this chicken pimento cheese sandwich from
Yes.
Chick-fil-A over and over again, and I fell victim to the ads. If you think ads don't work, they work. It was implanted in my ear.
There you go.
It was in my
It's
brain.
like Inception where they plant the idea in the guy's head.
It was very Christopher Nolan. My entire trip was very Christopher Nolan-esque. I'm glad you
Interstellar?
said that. It was Interstellar, Oppenheimer combined.
Wow.
It was a journey. It was quite the journey to San Jose.
So how was the pimento cheese sandwich, man?
So it was really good. New product they're trying out.
Yes.
Interesting flavor, but it was so messy that I had to go inside. So
it was messy,
I took a
really.
lot of time. I took a lot of time inside. I also started off my trip late because of that Colorado game. Wow. So basically, the part through Mount Shasta, that's how you say it, right? Mount Shasta?
Shasta, you were
Shasta.
there the first. Think of the drink, Shasta drink.
Shasta, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Shasta. That was beautiful. That's a beautiful part. You're
Yes.
seeing lakes, heads are swimming. It's a good time.
Weed, California. Did you stop in there, get a T-shirt?
Weed, California was cool. Passed by there for sure. Did not get a T-shirt.
Darn.
Or I'd be wearing it right now maybe, but
There
no,
you go.
that was good. Then it gets boring. I mean, it gets boring
Yeah.
in that Redding, Chico area. There's some boring parts of California. And then by the time I actually got around Oakland, needed to use the bathroom, had to stop again. So I was just, heads were wasting time. And by
Yeah.
heads, I mean me. So I finally made it pretty late on Saturday night because of all my adventures. But then the game was cool, man. San Jose State was a cool little stadium, only 20,000 fans, but cool environment. A lot of Beavs fans traveling, showing again why that fan base is so good. A lot going on the sideline. Talked to Scott Barnes a little bit.
Nice.
He expects Reeser to be fully finished this year, and he was just relieved to finally have a football game to focus on. I mean, you can imagine him.
I mean, this whole offseason for him, having to deal with his medical emergencies, glad to see he's doing well. I mean, this whole realignment, Reeser Stadium, I can only imagine the relief he felt actually seeing the Oregon State
Seeing
Beavers
football,
take the field.
seeing something happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot going on there. Talking to San Jose State's athletic director, who knows what was said there, but a lot going on there before the game. But yeah, then the game kicks off, man, and I was really impressed because, it's hard to imagine a better first half. They scored on 3 of 4 possessions that DJ led. They scored at the very end of the half. This new clock rule, I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't think coaches are a fan because Oregon State
Chip
only
Kelly
got
was ripping.
Yeah, he was ripping it.
like,
He's
this
like
is
a-
just for more commercials and all
Yeah.
that. He was not a fan. It affected them 4 or 5 different times.
Yeah, he's like, you're just trying to sell chicken pimento cheese sandwiches, and I'm trying to win a game with Dante Moore or Colin Schlee. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the year. But, yeah, I mean, how did it feel for Oregon State? Were they struggling?
It just went quick. It was
really quick.
It went really quick for them in that first half. They only got 4 possessions, but they were able to score on 3 of them, so it was kind of flawless. But, yeah, DJ just looked like he was having fun. You know, I think that was a stressful time in Clemson, man. I think we'll probably talk about that a little bit, why, you know, maybe it was a stressful time at Clemson, but you know, a lot of scrutiny on him, a lot of ridicule, but it looked like he was having fun out there, peppering the ball all over the field. The offensive line was really good. There was that play where he had 15, 25 minutes to throw in the pocket.
Oh, yeah.
It was literally like flat-footed. He said, I could have made a sandwich back there, which was a funny little quip from him. Like, he was just having fun out there. So I thought it was a nearly flawless performance. They gave up some stuff
100%.
at the end, but
they had no turnovers.
No turnovers. They forced a few. Got a fumble.
Yeah.
And really contained a quarterback that had a lot of success against USC. Like we thought maybe. We were talking last week, like this could be a shootout. New defense. Also saw Rajon Wright on the sideline.
Nice.
Asked him like what he thinks about this defensive back group. And he said a lot of these guys like could have played last year. We were just so deep. So that's what I was kind of saying. I tweeted out like a little while ago 2 overrated kind of talking points: the inexperience of Oregon's O-line and Oregon State's DBs. And I think so far so good, but we got a lot of football to play.
100%.
I think just to put a bow, you got anything else on Oregon State? I mean, it was a good experience. Drove back, got in and out on the way back to kind of right that wrong for all the in and out fans.
There you go.
Got back late last night, so I'm exhausted. That is a lot of driving, dude.
Yeah, that is a lot. I can only imagine. But yeah, I mean, final thing on Oregon State. I mean, they just look great. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious from, you know, they're not going to be a fluke like how they had, like, you know, they had their 10-win season. I think they're very well can get another 10-win season.
Yeah, I do too.
Oregon State looks great. I mean, I'm just excited for them, man.
The schedule really lines up for that. We said how they could start 9-1.
100%.
Pretty, I don't want to say easily because nothing's easy in the Pac-12 this year, but the schedule sets up to maybe start 9-1. They're going to kind of ease up into it. So got UC Davis this week. I mean, they got a breather, and then San Diego State, I think a team they should also beat. So kind of go piece by piece and see how this team continually grows. But the first test was really good for DJ. He just fits in that offense, very pro style.
He looks very good. He looks very good.
The run game complementing him. It seems like he's been coached up really well by Brian Lindgren. So, yeah, they had a good game. The offensive line was nuts, as we already kind of said. The defense was really good. So just going to have continual improvement. We also got to look at Aiden Childs at the very end, which shows how good of a game it went. And he threw a 15-yard pass and a 9-yard run. We haven't been hyping him up for no reason. He looked talented.
He did look good, yeah.
That's a very interesting development because he was the first guy off the bench. Probably see him again next week against UC Davis. And I feel like any glimpse at him is a look at the Beavs' future, and that's a guy that they've got to be working to keep out of the portal these coming years.
During fall practice, they were saying in the spring game, they're like, hey, look out for Aiden Childs. He might be that guy. I mean, him coming off the bench after DJU clearly shows that he is going to be that guy. So, yeah, I mean, stoked for Oregon State. I think it's great seeing Oregon State being good in the Pac-12. We'll see what happens for the rest of the year, man. But, yeah, I'm very excited for them.
Yeah, rare that we start with Oregon State over Oregon, but I think that has to do a little bit with the opponent. I don't think Oregon played the best of one, but I'll tell you what, man. I don't know if I've ever seen 81 points since Kobe dropped on somebody's head. That was crazy. 81? Like, I don't care who you're playing. That's impressive.
And even, like, our predictions, I mean, like, I think you had, like,
63.
63. I had, like, 56, 15 or something like that.
We were, like, halfway there.
Yeah, seriously. And seeing 81-7, I mean, like, I'll be real. Like, I did watch the game to a good amount, but, like, second quarter, like, going into halftime, I was like, all right, I'm going to switch to other games. But, yeah, I mean, Oregon Ducks look great. Bo Nix looked awesome. Ty Thompson even looked pretty good when he stepped in there for a while. I was actually surprised, though, if you saw, there was obviously Troy Franklin, and then Gary Bryant Jr. had the second most. He had 100. He broke 100 yards.
That's a good
so
point.
That was interesting to see, especially bringing in Tez Johnson and Trayshawn Holden. Gary Bryant, I mean, former USC wide receiver, very
Always
talented.
thought he was good there. Always thought he was good there.
Yeah, so it was great seeing him getting 100 yards. But yeah, I mean, Oregon just dominated Portland State. Everywhere, all across the ball.
Which was always going to happen, but I think the way that they did it was maybe a little shocking. Maybe Portland State just is that bad. Like maybe they're a 3-9 team in the FCS, which is definitely possible because it didn't seem like they could tackle anyone, and Oregon scoring on every play.
Yeah.
But still an interesting game from a lot of like injury perspectives. No Evan Williams out there. No Noah Whittington. Of course, Dan's not going to talk about that. I was watching a Cristobal press conference for some reason last night, and I was struck by like how much he did talk about stuff. Like I wasn't really here, but like he did talk about injuries and stuff. He was not
He
as
did.
tight-lipped.
Yeah.
Like he would actually like go into detail. It's just interesting the juxtaposition. Dan Lanning did not talk about any of it, but
No.
that was kind of interesting to me, that aspect of it. Who missed the game? What does that mean for Texas Tech, which is a big one? We could talk about that, but Texas Tech lost to
Wyoming, double overtime.
Wyoming, double overtime, which is crazy. I don't know if that helps or hurts the Ducks. What do you think?
I don't think it really helps them that much because, I mean, Texas Tech was favored in that game, so we'll see what happens when we go over to Lubbock. I think we still might see a very different Texas Tech team being at home in Lubbock. I think they have a chip on their shoulder after that heartbreaking loss against Wyoming. So we'll see what happens. I think it's not going to be a walk in the park when we go over there. I think Oregon's going to, they're going to get a taste of Texas. So I'm very excited for that game. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Yeah, Oregon, they look great. I mean, our running backs, Bucky Irving, Jordan James had 3 touchdowns. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else really you could say about Oregon, but I mean, just
the Texas
dominant
Tech
all
game,
around.
though. I mean, the Tyler Shuck aspect is going to be interesting. How he plays against his old team. I think dealing with that environment is going to be interesting for this Ducks team because I think Lubbock's going to be crazy. I think that stadium's going to be crazy. I think it's a good litmus test for the team, not just going against a total cupcake, but I think that Wyoming game shows I don't think this is the game we thought it was going to be at the beginning of the year. And obviously it's week 1, a lot can happen, but defensively, I don't think Texas Tech's going to be able to do anything to stop Bo Nix, and I think it's going to be kind of another stop along his Heisman campaign, kind of like what Caleb Williams has had. All right, so you want to give score predictions for these 2 games? UC Davis, Oregon State, and Texas Tech, Oregon?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
What do you got for Oregon, Texas Tech?
Oregon, Texas Tech. So I just said I think it's going to be 42-24, Oregon. I think the offense is not going to miss a beat. I think maybe a little bit of a slow start, but I think they pull, especially with the lack of possessions. But I think they get some big plays in the second half and really pull away with this one late, kind of like that Florida State game, which we'll touch on in our last block after the break. But yeah, Oregon 42-24. I just don't think I don't think Shuck's going to be able to keep up. I think it could be a big statement for Oregon's defense. So yeah, that's what I got.
I got 35-21. I think Oregon's going to come out on top. I think it's going to be a little closer in the first half, but I think second half Oregon's just going to walk away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm really excited to see Texas Tech. I mean, it's going to be exciting for Bo Nix. It's going to be exciting for Oregon. It's going to be a big game nationwide. So yeah, I'm excited for it though.
Cool. Oregon State, UC Davis, you got to pick. I'll say, just to get it on the record, how many are they going to put up? I don't know. This is going to be fun because I think we'll see a lot of trials in this one. And I think they'll probably keep going. You know what? I'll give the Beavs 52. I'll go 52-10.
Yeah. I was seriously going to say 52-14. We'll see what happens. I think
Twins.
Oregon State's going to walk in there. And yeah, we're going to see Aiden Childs. I think we're going to see.
New Reeser, too.
We might see, and Reeser. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, I think it's going to be a blowout win. I think we're going to see DJU just put on a performance, a masterclass in the first half. See Aiden Childs in the second half. See the future of Oregon State. We'll see what happens. Bengal Branson.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Damian Martinez, I think, is just going to help his Heisman campaign.
It's a good point on him, what you said earlier, because 145 yards and that O-line was creating holes. And
that's what I'm saying.
Big 28-yard gain at the end of the first half.
Exactly.
He had a good game that didn't really get talked about by many people.
Damian Martinez, Heisman candidate. I'm calling it right now, here.
This guy's your biggest fan. There's your camera.
I'm his biggest fan, man.
All right. Well, we're big fans of the craziness of Week 1. After the break, we're going to quickly touch on some of the bigger upsets, and then we will get out of here for this episode of the TD Show. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the TD Show. Saw some people complaining a little bit about this Week 1 slate of games. I didn't think it was the best. I was wrong. It's college football. Incredible stuff is always going to happen. And there were a ton of just shocking results. You go through it. We talked about Colorado, TCU. That was one of the biggest ones. Ohio State didn't look that good against Indiana, but then the real upsets started happening. You had, obviously, Duke over Clemson Monday night. It was ridiculous.
Basketball school being a football school, that was fun.
For them to get physically dominated, maybe we'll touch on it. We'll keep going through it. Florida State physically dominating LSU. UNC, I think a lot of people have them beating South Carolina, but not in the manner that they did it. A total domination there. So a lot of crazy results already, and we're already learning a lot about some of these teams. So we'll start with you on this, and then I'll go What surprised you the most about week 1 of college football?
I mean, the obvious one would be Colorado, but I'm not going to be obvious. Honestly, the one for me, at least, was Fresno State beating Purdue at home.
Oh.
You know, Mikey Keene coming in there from
I like
UCF.
that. I like
mean,
that.
no one had the Mountain West beating Purdue.
There you
And
go.
yeah, Fresno State came in there, won in a good fashion. Mikey Keene looked great, 4 touchdowns, 366 yards. So that one surprised me the most. I always have a little soft spot for Fresno State. They were my first ever college football game. It was them
Nice.
against SDSU at Qualcomm Stadium. So
Heck yeah, dude.
yeah,
I'm
Fresno
loving
State
all
was
of
the one
this
that
right
surprised
now.
me the most.
I love
honestly. If I were to pick a second, probably Cal against North Texas. I mean, 50, what was it, like 52-21? They just completely creamed.
You didn't expect them to go in there to Denton,
Your
my
hometown?
my fortress.
Your fortress, exactly.
come and beat
Yeah, I
them?
did not expect that from Cal. Definitely gave them like finishing like bottom last 2 in the Pac-12. So they look great against North Texas. But yeah, I would say Fresno State and Cal were my 2. Like, oh my God, wow, that was interesting.
Yeah, crazy for Purdue, the decline of Graham Harrell, who's now the offensive coordinator there. Offensive coordinator in Denton, Texas, at North Texas, then USC,
Yeah,
and then West Virginia, fails there, and now at Purdue. He's had a very,
very rough little.
is that a bell graph? Is that a parabola? We
That's some math you're throwing at me. I don't remember. Once I finished math in college, I forgot all about it.
doing
That looks good though.
I'm doing something here. Something with a slope, something with a y equals mx plus b. Okay. My thing I'm surprised about is the slope of the ACC. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, but I think it's the physicality that they played with. It's Duke punching Clemson in the mouth over and over again, despite not even playing their best game. Like the fact that they fumbled the ball and had turnovers and had a ton of penalties and still outplayed Clemson. I mean, I don't know what is going on in Clemson, South Carolina, but it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. You had
In
DJ.
Death Valley, man.
Yeah, DJ shining in his debut. It's early in the season. They bring in offensive coordinator Garrett Riley.
Yeah.
Expected to kind of revitalize, but I don't know if they understand offense there anymore. I don't know what's going on. They never seem to have a rhythm, a flow, and identity. Didn't help that they coughed the ball up too twice in the red zone.
And I mean, it might say something about the coach, man. I mean, you know, he was one of the head guys that was so anti against NIL.
Yeah.
You know, he was very anti the transfer portal. And in this day and age, the transfer portal is now, I feel like, going to be the standard for college football teams. With Dabo, I mean, he didn't really go after it this year. So,
Fair.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's definitely a punch in the mouth, like you said, for Clemson, for Dabo Sweeney. So, yeah, I mean, it was interesting. ACC, I mean, Florida State, LSU, another game that was crazy. I'm sorry, I'm getting too comfortable. But, yeah, I mean, that one surprised you, obviously. What were the other ones that surprised you?
Oh, so you're just going to, by the way, on that Dabo note, this show is made in the name, image, and likeness of Pod. Just to go back. So you're just going to gloss.
Pod. I just got that now.
It took you a second. It took you a little delay.
That was good. That was good.
A little delayed.
That
but,
was good.
So you're just going to gloss over your LSU playoff pick there?
Whoa,
You were just going to try
listen.
to slide that to the side. The fact that you were hyping up LSU all off season long on every show we had, and they get killed by Florida State.
Murdered. They got murdered. Bloodbath on national television. I don't know why. I was just like, Brian Kelly's going to get it this year. And he didn't. And it sucks. Jaden Daniels got a hit sticked at one point. I mean,
Yeah.
just picked up
Yeah.
and slammed on the ground. I mean, it was a tough outing for LSU. My playoff picture's not looking too good.
Mine's
Florida
looking good.
State looks great.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, LSU, that was just.
You were having a tough time watching that one?
No bueno. Yeah, I kind of turned it off halfway through. I was just like, you know what, I'm done. Trevor's going to rip into me about this later. But yeah, no, tough showing for LSU Tigers, man. Did not like that one bit.
Yeah, tough days for the tough weeks for the SEC. Florida losing to Utah, LSU losing to Florida State, South Carolina getting killed by UNC, and then a tough week, obviously, for Clemson. Tough for the Big 12, too. We didn't mention
Yeah,
that, but
Big 12.
Texas State beating Baylor, and then Wyoming beating Texas Tech. Like, what?
Texas State is the only team in Texas to win a game on week 1.
Really?
Yeah, they were the only Texas school to win a game. So that's interesting. I mean, we'll see what
Texas
happens.
forever.
Yeah, we'll see what happens this next week with Alabama and UT Austin.
That's
I know
gonna
I
be a
hit it,
fun
threw it
one.
down. Boom. Texas Hate Week is here.
Be careful. You can, like, get fined in the state of
Vince Young
by
punched a guy in a bar for doing that to his face. True story. That's actually a true story. Look it
Is
up.
that what derailed his rookie year, or was that the recent?
That or when the Texas Longhorns, you know they're actually banned from Disneyland?
the Texas Longhorns as a team?
The team is banned because when they went there to play against your USC, they obviously, they wherever they're at, they always go check out the fun stuff. And I think they wrote like "Go Longhorns" or something on Tower of Terror.
You can't
like, on
do
the
that.
top.
You can't deface.
They're banned for life. Texas Longhorns are not allowed
as
in
a unit.
Disneyland.
Are you serious?
I don't know if it's California Adventure or Disneyland, but they're not allowed. So
This is our best podcast ever.
Texas
by the
Hate
way.
Week, man. Let it begin.
I love that. How dare you deface the Tower of Terror? That's
It's not
like
even
the
Tower of
best
Terror
ride.
anymore. It's Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know. I hate that too.
Yeah, I
'cause
don't like it either.
The original Tower of Terror was trippy.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's less trippy. You move around the thing. It's ridiculous.
no-
All the
no-
ghosts and stuff. Now it's
Yeah.
just Chris Pratt. I don't need that. I see him enough everywhere else in my daily life. Okay. Florida State destroying LSU.
Yes.
I'll make one last point, and then we're going to get out of here pretty soon. And look forward to next week and all the great things we have going on. That Texas-Alabama game, there's going to be a ton to talk about next week. But here's the thing. I was talking about this with a friend, and the quarterback play in the NCAA this year is ridiculous. I think that's for a couple reasons. I think that's the transfer portal, so you no longer have as many like good backups. Like everyone's starting, everyone's playing somewhere. And then obviously the pandemic. That's why you have Bo Nix again. That's why you have Michael Penix again, Jaden Daniels. A lot of those guys that started in 2019 are still playing. Counter examples, of course, JT Daniels and Keaton Slovis, who are continuing to be terrible in their 17th year of college
JT
football.
Daniels, Rice Owls.
He's lost to Texas 3 times, and Texas hasn't beaten anybody 3 times.
Yeah, that's brutal. Brutal fashion.
Yeah, I don't know if he's banned from Disneyland. He might be at this point. He's never
could
going to
be.
win a Super Bowl, so he won't go there for that. It's been our best episode by far. I just want to put that on the record.
That's a great one.
But for those 2 reasons, this is the best quarterback play I think we've seen it a long time. But here's the thing. It's not really distributed in the SEC, the conference we think of as traditionally the best. They had a rough week too, but you have Spencer Rattler there, you have Jaden Daniels, but then you have a lot of, and those guys didn't have that great of week ones, but then you have a lot of unknowns like a Carson Beck, like a Jalen Milroe.
That's a fair
Whereas in the
point.
Pac-12, you have legit NFL-ready guys. You have Bo Nix, you have Michael Penix, you have Shador, you have Dante Moore, you have everyone we've been talking about. And then in the ACC, Riley Leonard, Drake May, Jordan Travis, all NFL guys. So I don't know what's happening. I don't want to put the tombstone on the SEC just yet, but it feels like at least from a quarterback play perspective, the best quarterbacks in the nation right now are in the ACC and the Pac-12.
There you go. I like that. That's a great take, man. I'm a huge fan
There's
of
some
that.
great quarterbacks in both. I think Riley Leonard was awesome, and I think obviously what we got in the Pac-12 is awesome. Oregon volleyball, awesome to start the season. They are 6-0. Excited to keep following that. Oregon women's soccer not having a good time. They are 0-4-1, so we'll see if they can turn it around. But
They get relegated? I mean, at this point, maybe. Hopefully not. I like Graham Abel.
they're going.
I
With
like
the
the Oregon soccer.
They might be going with the Oregon State to the Mountain West. That'd be fun.
There you go. I like that.
We need a relegation system so that Oregon State football doesn't get going, doesn't have to go back to San Jose every year. All right, we're going to get out of here with this episode of the TD Show to celebrate Week 1. We'll be back with our recap of Week 2 of college football next week. As always, horns down. Our time is now. Trev Prime.